Welcome to another episode of the Butterfly Mindset Podcast.
Left late night, what a mess. We woke up and we're still obsessed. Can't keep it straight night and day. We keep it classy, still we stay.
Welcome to another episode of the Butterfly Mindset Podcast. Today I have my good friend Logan Geddie. Or should I say Yeti?
No.
No, I appreciate you being on. Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to, just kind of
chit chat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really excited about is I've been wanting to do this interview since we met. When did we meet? 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
I think we met in 2021 or 2.
4 years ago? Yeah, I think 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, was it Dallas?
It was Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
It was Orlando. I think it was 22.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we met because we're both honorees of 30 under 30.
That's right.
And we immediately clicked.
That's
so I always tell everybody, it's my favorite 30.
Creates a little bit of animosity among some of our friends
that are in the room right now.
That's right.
So look, I'm really excited about this conversation because you're in a market that is very different than the majority of markets in the country.
Yeah.
And you are a highly successful agent.
Mm-hmm.
And you've built an amazing business. So I want to go into a little bit of that, but I want to start from what did you do before real estate?
Sure. So I think like a lot of our friends that are 30s, real estate for a lot of us was like the first or second thing we ever did. You know what I mean? For me, I was in college. I had grown up surrounded by real estate. So I always knew that I wanted to do real estate one day. I just never thought I wanted it to be the first job I ever had, right? I thought that I had to, go get real world experience, have some other career experience before I got into real estate. But I was in college and I was about to graduate in like 2 weeks, and my grandmother had gotten really sick. And so my parents, we all were talking and we were trying to decide what we were going to do. And so I was in this position where I didn't have to stay in Raleigh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I can just move home, and I'll help until we get things figured out. So I moved home to take care of my grandma. And
where's home?
Fayetteville.
Okay.
Right outside of Fayetteville. And so when I was there, it just wasn't I never planned for it to happen that way, but I literally took care of her for a couple months, every day. And then while I was there, my mom was like, you should go ahead and take your real estate license while you're here, and just, you don't have to use it right now, but if you want to, you'll have it and it'll be behind you. And I was like, okay, that's a great idea. And then after I got my license, the rest is history. I just jumped right in.
So you said you grew up in real estate.
Yeah.
What do you mean you grew up in real estate?
Well, so when I was I think 14, my mom got a real estate license. And so maybe 13, but either way, I would go to open houses with her on weekends. And, I saw her start her career and some of the things that she did. And I saw the parts that I liked about it. There was always things that you're like, oh, that's not maybe my favorite part. Yeah. But, the good certainly outweighed the bad. And I was just really drawn to it. And then for her, it was also a second career, but my grandfather had started real estate after he retired from the Air Force.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so he had sold. And so it's really full circle, but for the same company that I work for today, he worked for.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So wait, is your family from Fayetteville, or were you there because your grandpa was in the military?
So a combination of both. So my grandfather retired there. And so that's why his family was there, and that's why my mom, graduated from high school there. Yeah. But my dad's family is hyper local. So they've been there for generations.
And what's your dad do?
My dad, he is retired now, but he used to work in cable and fiber optics.
Okay. So you grow up being in around open houses and yada yada. You go to Raleigh, you come back, take care of grandma.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna get my real estate license because mom told me I should get it.
Yeah.
And then once you got it, what was that like? What did you study in school?
Business and marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you want to do? Did you know that you wanted to get into real estate?
Honestly, I did. I know it sounds really weird, but like I never thought. I had worked in property management in college, and so my plan is I was going to actually, work in property management in Raleigh. I'd gotten a job offer to do that. But, I mean, it wasn't like, oh, this is my, like, I liked it, I would be working for the same company I was at the time, but there was just no question about what I was going to do when I decided to move back.
So, but like growing up, you were like, I want to be a real estate agent.
Yeah, I mean, I like people, and I enjoy sales.
Yep.
I like the conversations. I like the relationships. I think I could have done a whole variety of different things, but that was always kind of a constant of something that I considered always.
So, and again, I'm just curious. So why did you go to college?
I think for me, it was really important. My parents really wanted me to go to college.
Yep.
I definitely didn't need to go to college.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
what I'm
also
asking. Because I didn't go to college, right? So,
yeah, I didn't plan to. I didn't plan to go straight into real estate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought, oh, I'll use this degree for whatever I do first. It sounds really weird, but it's not very common, I think, for 22-year-olds to go get their real estate license.
Yeah.
So like you're kind of like, oh, what else am I going to do before I do that?
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're like, I'll probably end up in real estate at some point, but let me do something else in the meantime.
Yeah, I had some weird, I guess concept in my mind that I needed to do something else before I did that.
That makes sense. And so then you move back, you get into real estate, and you're like, I'm just going all in.
Yeah.
So you went all in, and what did that look like?
So, it just kind of like, obviously it's like basics,
Yeah.
I didn't join a team, so I was like a solo agent, so I was just trying to figure it out, going to trainings and everything else. And it definitely was something that I feel like kind of picked up, like it just kind of fell into place. But, I just hustled like anybody else.
What does hustling mean, though? Like, what did you do?
I worked a lot. And you said, when you asked me this question, you said you just went all in. And, to me, that's hustling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're just going all in on something. And, I feel like, especially in this business, but really any business, the amount of effort you put in the very beginning fundamentally changes the trajectory of your business.
100%. 100%. That's like, I think that's something that I try to explain to so many people is like, if you just go 110% for the first 2 years of your career, it will tenfold
absolutely
year over year because it compounds.
And every new agent always asks me, they're like wanting to know the secrets, or they're trying to find that easy button, and there really truly is not an easy button in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sure, there might be some tricks or tips that I could give someone, you could give someone, but nothing is going to supersede like doing the work,
100%. So when you first got into business, were you doing like open houses? Were you doing door knocking? Were you calling? Like, how did you build your business?
I think for me, I did all of the basic stuff. I really wasn't door knocking. I did do open houses some. I bought online leads. That was one, probably that was how I kind of got my feet wet, was working with people I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then also, when you're newer, you don't have this giant book of business. And so there was a guy in my office who was a little bit behind the times, as far as with technology and everything else. And so I would actually help him with his files. And, so I essentially kind of mentored under him a little bit.
Yeah.
And worked as an assistant or a TC for him. But I mean, that would also be like one of the biggest like tips I would give somebody. Like, don't be too proud to,
Yep.
get in the trenches for someone else, because you're going to learn so much.
How'd you do that? How'd you meet the guy and put that connection together?
Ironically, I babysat for him when I
Oh,
was
wow.
like 14. But yeah, no, I mean, he just needed help, and I was willing to do it.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I've been selling real estate for like 11 years now, and I can probably count for sure on both of my hands how many times somebody has asked me, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To do the same thing. I don't think people innately just think you have to want it bad enough to try to find any which way to get there.
It's funny, I was talking to somebody earlier about this, and I was like, this conversation is like, we learn from experiences in life, but they don't need to be your own.
That's right.
Like, and it's like, I have this conversation with people over and over and over again, and I see, we always talk about success leaving clues. Like, like in highly successful people, I see the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you find somebody that's very good at what you want to do.
Right.
Grab onto them. Tell them, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
And learn from them.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, obviously as individuals, we all learn from our own mistakes. But I mean, if you can curb that a little bit and learn from someone else's mistakes, I mean, that's only going to help improve your trajectory in getting where you want to go.
Yeah. So you knew you kind of want to get in real estate, but when did you know you were going to stay in real estate?
I think for me, probably in the first, maybe after the first 2 years or something.
What was there like a moment where you're like, okay, I can do this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably in the beginning, it probably took me a couple of years where I just kind of did have an epiphany or light bulb moment where I think I was getting in my own way a little bit. Yeah. If that makes sense. So I was almost thinking, I had that mindset, and I told you this in the beginning, mindset is so powerful.
Yeah.
You know that, I know that. But why did I not want to get into real estate to start with? Because I thought I needed to do something else first. I thought I needed to prove myself. I thought I needed some kind of clout or experience or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
And so I think what changed for me, it was very pivotal when I realized that my age was actually my biggest asset in my business. Maybe that means I'm better with technology, marketing, whatever the case may be. My hustle, there are things that I would bring to the business for my clients that somebody who's 20 years in and in a different phase of their life wouldn't be bringing that same client. Yeah. So when I started realizing and leaning into what I perceived initially as a weakness and realizing it was actually my strength, I think that is when I was I'm really good at this. I've got this. I can do this.
I love that. I think it's interesting, especially being someone young in the business. It's we deal with that, right?
That's
it's
right.
hard when I remember getting into the business and walking into appointments being you're too young to be here. You could be my son. You could be my grandchild,
Yeah.
And you're well, you want your grandchild to make money? Because I'm right here, Yeah. But it is this, it was this thing that I remember especially my first couple years before I had numbers on the board.
Yeah.
Right? How did you deal with that?
I mean, I leaned into, I had worked in college in property management. I did leasing for 3 years while I was a student. And so I had that a little bit in my pocket. So if it was somebody, I would, maybe throw that in there. They're what'd you do before this? I'd say I went to college and I worked in property management. You know what I mean? And I can say that I had done that for 3 years. But more than anything, I probably relied on my company, our market share, our brand, as the biggest kind of tool to help me differentiate myself in a very competitive market when I was a small fish.
Yeah. And then when did you decide you were going to start a team?
So I wanted to start a team for years, but I was very much wanted it to be the right fit. Yeah. Meaning, you have ideas or people that you meet and you're they would be happy to work with you, but it's just not a good fit. Yeah. I really don't like a lot of drama. You know what I mean? I want to be able to not have a, just have like a really good culture and good work environment. Yeah. And so I knew that I wanted to, but I just was almost nervous and scared for sure on like taking the leap. And how it initially started for me is I had a transaction coordinator who was licensed agent, and she was my first agent that I brought onto the team.
Oh, wow, okay.
And she's no longer a transaction coordinator for me or an assistant. We have a full-time, admin, TC.
So.
But I knew our personalities jived.
Yeah, because you already were working with her.
It gave me the confidence to pull the trigger, I guess.
Yeah, when you were going through, I guess when you're going through this whole thought process of like, should I start a team? How do I start a team? What do I do? Like this talk track of like, maybe I can't start a team. And did you ever deal with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think you see it. For one, my market was not very team heavy, especially at the company that I'm with. There was like 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me.
And so there are more teams now than there were at the time that I started.
Because you're a trendsetter.
I mean, I don't know if it's me or if it's just, it's become more popular. But either way, it is probably more common now. I think people are less cautious about it. But I had a good business by myself.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I was jumping into uncharted territory for myself. But at the end of the day, I have like no regrets. And that's what we have to do. We have to continue to challenge ourselves. We need to push ourselves, so that we can always be better.
And now you're one of the top teams in the country.
I mean, I don't know about that, but.
Which is interesting too when you think about it, because what's your average price point?
Ours is about $300, but I mean, we also do deals that are, $100.
That's insane. Yeah, I couldn't even find a deal in anywhere in the market.
Do you want to know the cheapest house I've ever sold?
Yes.
$22,500.
$22,500.
Yeah.
When was that?
It was a couple years into the business.
Wow. So is that like?
It was a foreclosed property.
Okay.
But still.
Yeah. That's pretty insane. I've bought a house for $6,000.
That's
but I've
impressive.
never sold a house for that low. So like, you have to be doing so many units to be able to hit the numbers that you're hitting.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like from a systems perspective?
Sure.
Because like, if I had to sell that many units, I'd be going insane. And you're just like over here floating around and like it's like nobody's business. We're good. Everything's good. So like, I'm really curious. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. No. Great question. I think for me, when I was a single agent, I definitely saw that like I needed more to grow, right? So like I needed a TC. And I explored different things from like a part-time, like pay per transaction, to hourly, to like full-time, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I have now is somebody, who is, they only work for our team really. Yeah. And they don't work for any other agents.
Yeah.
But the systems and putting the right people in position and in place, I would say are what helped us to propel to the next level. Because as one person, you can only handle so much.
Correct.
But I mean, we consistently, are doing north of 100 units a year, and there's just 2 agents. It's myself and one other agent. I think right now we're at like 92 closed and pending.
Yeah, that's insane. It's insane. There's the numbers of units per agent is insane. And it's interesting also, like when I'm thinking about your business, because you had this TC that was probably doing really well for you. Then you're like, hey, now you're an agent. And then you're like, now we got to go hire somebody else to put that person in place.
But it was a beautiful thing because it didn't just enable, like, it didn't just help like the 2 of us, you know what I mean? Like as far as getting someone else, but it really propelled her in her business, by like freeing her up to do more.
To grow in her business, which is pretty interesting. Like, a lot of, I'm the same mindset, this thought process of abundance mindset and growth and like help my people grow and yada, yada. But a lot of people will take the opposite stance because they're like, well, if she goes into this position and then she's going to go and she's going to have quote unquote freedom to be able to close all these deals, yada, yada, then I'm going to lose my bread and butter. And like, did you ever have any of those thoughts?
No. And the reason why is because like, I fundamentally want her to be happy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's not about me. So like, because of that, like, I don't care. We're going to do what we do. And if she ever looks at me one day and she's like, I think I'm going to do something different, I'm going to be like, well, I wish you the best. Let me know if you ever want to come back.
Yeah,
because,
100%.
I mean, I just feel like I understand what you're saying. But, I mean, hopefully the culture is good enough to where she'll want to stay.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where I'm at.
What made you, like, I'm curious where this thought process and this mindset came from, because it's very much an abundance mindset. Like, and I do find that the most successful people that I've interviewed like have this same thought process and mindset.
Yeah.
And it comes from all different ways, but like, where do you think you learned that from?
I think I'm just a pretty positive person, you know. I would say like probably foundationally, like my faith obviously shapes who I am as a person. You know.
How many siblings do you have? Do you have siblings?
I have one brother.
Older or younger?
Younger. And I feel like my relationship with my brother definitely had a huge impact on my life too. So
that's pretty interesting, because it's look, like when you hit a certain level in success, there's always this conversation of like, oh, you can only get there if you're not a good person, if you step on people on the way up and you do this. But like, you're a testament to say that like that's not the case whatsoever, right? Like,
yeah, I would say more than anything, I would want people to like look back and like have positive things to say about me, you know? And it's more about like, you know, did I make them feel good? Not, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just can't, I'm not a very cutthroat person. I am very competitive, but I'm not going to take somebody down so I can get there.
I love that. Do you play sports?
I mean, I did play sports, but I was not like a college athlete. So.
But where's the competitiveness come from, is what I'm curious about.
Oh, I'm just.
I know you're super competitive.
I am very wired to be very competitive. I mean, I did run track. I did play softball. I did play tennis a little bit as well in high school. But, you know, I don't know. I just think some people are wired.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I always do. I mean, anything, when I really stop and look back, I kind of feel like almost anything I've done, I've tried to do it on the best level that I could.
Yeah. I think it's that part. Like, when you step into any business, any venture, any activity, and you just put 100% in, like, good will come out of it. Like, whether it's right then and there. Sometimes, like, I always say, like, if you're going to go flip burgers, be the best freaking burger flipper in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and people are like, well, where's that going to get you? Well, like, who knows? Maybe someone walks in and sees them and they're like, wow, this person's really hardworking. Like, I have an opportunity here, yada, yada. I have a friend of mine. He's actually a mentor of mine. He moved here from Africa. Started sweeping floors at Ganal Lumber because he couldn't get an actual job. So this is what he did. He was doing that. Somebody saw him how hard he worked, took him to the next thing. Someone saw him how hard he worked there, took him to the next thing, and then he ended up becoming like one of the biggest people in the music industry.
That's awesome.
Because of because he just worked and did his best ability at what he was doing at that given moment.
Yeah.
Right? And like, I think you when we talk about competitiveness, I think it's more of like, you just want to put that best product out there.
I agree. And I think like a lot of it has to do with like how you were raised, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my parents definitely impressed upon me that they wanted me to, you know, if I was going to do it right, you know what I mean? Or, you know, I just feel like fundamentally you just don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You're just, I don't know, it's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, it's was taught to you from your parents.
Yeah.
Is your mom like that? Your dad like that?
Yeah, my dad's always been, and my mom. I mean, they both are very hardworking. Neither of my parents went to college, and I think that's why my parents really wanted me to go to college.
Yeah.
That was really important to them. But neither of them really needed to go to college to find success. You know what I mean? They're hardworking people, you know?
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. Okay, I have 2 more questions for you. First question is, how can people connect with you?
You could connect with me on Instagram. Probably would be the easiest way. My Instagram is Logan Geddie Realtor.
How do you spell it?
Logan, Logangeddie, Realtor. Do you want me to spell that too?
No, I think you're good. Okay, perfect. And my second question is, there's someone's going through something similar to what you dealt with your family, your grandma.
Yeah.
Like basically, family issues, not sure what to do. They're in college. They're trying to figure out what they're gonna do with their lives.
Sure.
Like, what's the piece of advice you would give them?
I would say it's really interesting when you retrospectively look back at it. But like, I did something for someone else, and I mean, I did it for myself too. I love her, like that was important. Like my relationship with her, I was gonna do the right thing. But it's crazy how when you are being selfless and you're just doing the right thing, you just keep your mind and opportunities will just kind of like come to you. But if you do things out of a genuine place and a pure heart, I feel like things just kind of fall into place.
Yeah, you get into this positive flow.
Yeah, and I think positivity is like so important.
Yeah, we've talked about that, right? Like if you stay in this positive flow and I think like you go and you put others first and then you stay in this positive flow, like everything just seems to work how it's supposed to.
Yeah, I really believe that like everything happens for a reason. And I think that's why I I wouldn't have gone into real estate right away had that not happened. But at the time, I mean, like, I remember my boyfriend was like, "You're just going to move home and take care of your grandma?" You know what I mean? Like, it was a very, it sounded very odd, but it was like, if you had understood the circumstances and everything else, it was like, there was like no question I was going to do it. And I mean, he wasn't upset that I was doing it, but it was just like, everybody was like, "You're not going to get a job?" You know, because I had just graduated. Like,
and that's my point, right? Like someone's going through that right now, and it's a hard. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see the other side.
Yeah. Well, and I think you got to take things one step at a time. You don't have to like get to the finish line right away. You know what I mean? Like if something comes up and it maybe like changes your plans, like just work through it. Yeah. And you don't like plans change, goals change, but in reality, like. It was the best thing that happened to me.
I love that.
Because, I mean, I could have gone and taken a salaried job where I would have made decent money, but I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today. Yeah. Where I own my own business, and I've established myself in this industry, and I just feel like knowing what I know now, I would never tell anyone to go do real estate as a second career. Yeah. Like, I would never do that. Like, it is, it's just funny how you think but you really don't know. Yeah. And that's the other reason why I always tell people, don't get in your own way. Yeah. Like, sometimes we are our biggest obstacle.
This is crazy. Like, I was having this conversation with somebody else. It's like, you don't even realize like you don't have the capacity to understand where your life can go because you've never been there. So like what you have to do is like set some sort of goal, start moving towards that, and then let everything happen and grow into it, right?
Absolutely.
Like because you can't truly understand what that's going to be like until you truly get there.
That's right.
100%.
It's
pretty interesting. So I appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing this.
Having me do it. I hope I did a good job.
Just had to ask you about 70,000 times, but I appreciate you for doing it.
Well, thanks for pulling me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Boom.